students! Welcome to class. I'm Miss KADIE, that vegan teacher, and today we're going to be looking at a bunch of different little news stories. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Do you know who Gary Francione is? You don't know? Oh, you're going to find out. You must know who Lewis Hamilton is though, right? And Leonardo DiCaprio? Yeah? And Billie Eilish? Yeah. All kinds of cool stuff coming up. Let's get into it. You ready? Woo!
Drink soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, almond milk. Don't steal milk from a cow. Be vegan, start right now. Follow that vegan teacher. She will show you how. Jesus is vegan now and God is too. If you want to get to heaven, you better be vegan too. Fuck milk, cheese, eggs, or any kind of meat. Buy broccoli, tofu, and vegan food to eat. God wants us to be kind to the animals, or it's true. You risk getting roasted on the devil's barbecue.
In other news, vegans continue to be so much better than everyone else on the planet. Even better than veterinarians. That's right. You see, veterinarians, at the end of a long day of work, they go home, stop at the grocery store, and walk down the aisles towards the cemetery part of the grocery store. And they don't go over there and start doing CPR or trying to sew up the wounds of the innocent animals that are there. Nope, they pick them up and put them in their shopping carts, walk over and pay money for these corpses. Then when they get home, they turn on their stoves and burn the flesh of these innocent victims. Put them on their plates, pick up a knife and a fork and slice into them, and then devour them. Yep, this is what veterinarians around the world do. You know, as a nurse, I had to take an oath, which reminded me not to do any harm. I wonder what happened with regard to the veterinarians. Maybe they should go back and read their documents, read the fine print, where it says not to hurt animals, but rather to save them. And if for some reason it's not written in there, maybe as a group, it's just a suggestion, maybe they could all get together and say, you know what, let's put that in the fine print. Let's write down, don't eat our patients. Sound good? Yeah.
Let's not eat our patients. Let's be good veterinarians. Let's not be fucked up in the head anymore. Let's not eat our patients. Let's be good veterinarians. Let's not be fucked up in the head anymore.
In other news, Gary Francione, who is an animal rights activist, a lawyer, and a professor at Rutgers University, he has posted something over on Twitter, which is now known as X, and I thought that we would look at it together because it is of interest to me. So let's have a look. But before we do, let's take a moment to make sure that you have subscribed to this channel and press the notification bell if you want to see any more videos in the future. And also, make sure to comment and let me know the kind of videos that you prefer seeing. This is something about sex matters. Why is the trans debate so toxic? Because one side decided they could just lay down the law, assert a new reality, and have no debate at all. So I found this to be interesting. So let's have a look at what she has to say.
The trans activist side seems to have decided that it didn't have to do any of the usual persuading, marshalling evidence, arguing phases of bringing about what is, on any view, seismic social and cultural change. They decided that all they had to do was assert a new reality. Trans women are women, trans men are men.
Trans women are women, trans men are men. Agree or disagree? Discuss this politely in the comments while you keep watching.
And everyone's got to agree with that. Everyone's got to accept it in all circumstances, for all purposes. And anyone who expresses any concerns about that is to be smeared as a bigot and can be deplatformed, silenced. It's okay to try to get them sacked from their jobs and worse. There have been rape threats, death threats, threats of horrible violence against women expressing these opinions.
Well, what I'm wondering about is that woman vegan? I'm always wondering what is in people's intestines. But anyway, let's talk about this. So what Gary wrote was, I have been an academic for 4 decades. That's 40 years. Our academic institutions are in very big trouble. The pursuit of truth is no longer valued. What is valued is, quote, lived experienced, end quote. And the marginalized portions of this are magnified so students dwell in what Susan Nyman calls the forest of trauma as they search for the, quote, safe space, end quote, where they will not be confronted with any ideas with which they disagree. This is a disaster for education. For sure, truth is a problematic concept. Truth can only be probabilistic, but that does not mean that, for example, that the earth is flat and that earth is not flat are equally valid.
So it's absolutely true that the tone has been bad, but the tone has been bad because one side decided that this wasn't a matter that we needed to debate at all. They could just lay down the law. When I first came to this debate, I was perfectly happy to call men who said they were women, trans women, including the all-important space, to use female pronouns for them, to call them she and her.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, right? I mean, it's only polite. If somebody transitions and wants to be known by this new gender, and for you it is not a big deal, then why not give them that gift, give them that dignity, and just let them be called what they want? So for example, I have a friend whose name used to be Richard, and this person transitioned and is now wanting to be called Regan. And whenever I am with other people and referring to Regan, I refer to Regan as she, because it's the right thing to do. But some people say that things have gone too far now.
And to engage in what I thought we all understood was a polite pretense that for social purposes they were women.
Okay, so what she's saying is that she was okay to pretend that people were the other gender. But she thinks that they are not actually the other gender. They just think that they are and want everyone else to think that they are, and so everybody should pretend that they are in order to have peace and to be polite. It's kind of like how we all pretend that Santa's there, just to make everybody happy and to be polite. So hi, I'm here at the airport.
Yes, Heathrow Airport, we're going to wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
She's coming home to see you.
Now, I want to ask you guys something.
Go on.
Are you guys vegan?
Yes.
I'm glad
It's
to
the
hear
healthy
that.
Santas now, and
You
elves.
see what they're serving here? This is absolutely dreadful. That's a dead pig who's serving the absolute red. It's not cold. You see the sausages? It's the same thing. It's very sad. You see the eggs? They come from a cycle of violence. You know what they do in the egg industry? They murder the little baby boys at just 1 day old because they're going to grow up to be roosters. And so that's why it's important, Santa, that when you ask for cookies and milk, that they should be plant-based milk, right? And vegan cookies
I
with
have
no eggs.
on my cereal, I have soya milk or oat milk.
That's
It
excellent.
actually is nice.
That's very
Nice
good.
and- I don't
Puts an
like
extra
milk.
taste in it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and
It's
that's
lovely.
for the animals.
Yeah.
I mean, they suffer so much, right? So
No,
I'm
good
so
for you.
happy to hear that you are both vegan.
Yes, we are.
Excellent.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Take
Christmas.
care.
Where are you from then?
I'm from Canada,
Lovely. What part?
Montreal.
Oh, Montreal. I know Vancouver.
Okay. Take care.
Happy Christmas to all Canadians.
Bye.
Are you vegan yet? What are you waiting for? Are you vegan yet? Open the vegan door.
Because I've come to understand that there is no consensus that this is a polite pretense.
Okay, so now she says that she realizes over time that there's no consensus. Not even the entire LGBTQ community agrees on this. Lesbians don't always like what the trans people are saying. And in fact, I know there are even trans people who don't agree with other trans people. Marcus, for example, used to identify as a girl and transitioned to be a man. And he now speaks out against transitioning too early, and he is against puberty blockers, and he is also against this sort of way of identifying oneself that is somewhere in between being male and female. He says, make up your mind, either you're male or you're female, pick a side.
Claim that this is the truth, that trans women are in reality women.
So your view is that sort of, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. If you keep up with this, as you say, is polite pretense that someone is a woman, that it will be sliding into sort of legal territory, or it will be sliding into the territory of these trans women being put into female prisons or refuges or something. Is it about holding a linguistic line that can't be breached?
Uh-oh. Well, we interrupt this news for other exciting news. Apparently, it has just been announced that Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas are opening a vegan restaurant in Los Angeles. And apparently the restaurant's going to be very accessible to all kinds of people. It's not going to be like a rich place. And get this, the food is going to be primarily Italian in origin. Woohoo!
Broccoli, green peppers, mushrooms, tomatoes, artichokes, vegan meat, vegan cheese. Ta-da! It's vegan pizza.
I now understand very vividly why it is such an important front. Because if we are not allowed to say he, if we're not allowed to say that a male athlete, a male swimmer, a male runner, whatever, is male, and that's the problem with him competing in women's sport, because that he has a male body. If we're not allowed to use that realistic language, it becomes very, very hard to say what the problem is. So if you want to exclude someone you call she, and you referred to as a trans woman from what ought to be a women-only space, you fall over yourself. You can't make clear what your problem with that is. And your problem with that is that trans women are men. And if there is a good reason to have a women-only space, like a women's prison, or any of the spaces where women undress or use the toilet or are vulnerable for any reason, sleeping, whatever. And those are not just, Labour politicians particularly have a great tendency to talk about safe spaces as if this is all about safety. But it's not. It's just as much about everyday privacy and dignity. Women have the right to their own boundaries. And in those circumstances, in all of those many, many situations that we all encounter daily, when for our own privacy and dignity and for the maintenance of our own boundaries, we want to say this is a women-only space. What matters there is not how somebody identifies, but what their body is like, whether they are in fact a man or a woman.
Okay, so why this is something that is of concern to Gary Francione, let's keep reading on the Twitter what he wrote here. He says, for a good long time now, animal advocacy groups have largely sold out animals by promoting the idea that we can humanely exploit animals and that the problem is big ag and not ag itself. They give awards to businesses that promise to phase in some portion of cage-free eggs over a multi-year period and then ask for a donation. That is pathetic and counterproductive, says Gary Francione. And now, animal advocacy groups are selling out animals by embracing the woke nonsense they extract from their misunderstanding of intersectionality. That is pathetic and counterproductive. So what it reminds me of is when people in my comment sections, especially over on TikTok, say things like, well, plants feel pain, and so, it doesn't really matter if we eat plants or if we eat animals. And what I always say is, go to the science, be logical. And in my view, it makes no sense that male athletes who are quite big, quite large, have longer arms, longer legs, bigger feet, are competing against women in things, for example, like swimming. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Just whatever you do, make sure that you discuss it politely. Okay? Okay. And this is your reminder to eat more cruciferous vegetables, like bok choy, for example. When's the last time you had any? Or what about tofu? When's the last time you had some of that?
Tofu scramble, it's so easy to do. Woo-hoo. Eating eggs is so last century, nobody needs to, so here's what you do. Mash tofu, green onions, and celery in a pan. Add black salt, turmeric, and spices, yes you can. Mix in some vegan mayo. Mix in some vegan mayo. Now mix in a salty pickle. Yeah, that's the way to go. Ooh! Tofu scramble, it's so easy to do. Woo-hoo. Learn how to make it, 'cause saving animals will make them happy and will make you happy too. The egg industry's just a cycle of misery. Let's make the animal Holocaust history. The egg industry is just a cycle of misery. Let's make the animal Holocaust history. Tofu scramble, it's so easy to do. Woohoo! Learn how to make it, 'cause saving animals will make them happy and will make you happy too.
And last but not least, in case you didn't know, there is a restaurant chain that is expanding in Europe, where I am right now. I am in Italy. And this chain is called Neat Burger, and it is backed by Lewis Hamilton, the famous race car driver who's vegan, and Leonardo DiCaprio. So they're going to have a branch in Italy. Now, apparently it's already opened, but I am not in Milan at the moment. But if I go, I will for sure make a video about it. Doesn't this absolutely look delicious? I mean, who wouldn't want to bite into a delicious looking vegan burger like that? My God, which one would you want? The one on the top or the bottom? And look at that. Do you see that on the side there? On the side, there's fries, and there also looks like there is some sort of mac and cheese. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I know I could eat at least 4 burgers. I love eating so much. It's the highlight of my day. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for being here. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye for now.
Let's follow that vegan teacher on YouTube right now. Let's help her save every chicken, pig, and cow. Let's follow that vegan teacher on YouTube right now. Let's put our empathy into action. Miss Katie will show us how.
Okay, Bella, I finished recording. We can go for a walk now. Yeah, let's go.